up, guys? Happy Monday, man. Another week is upon us. I gotta interrupt their conversation. They look like they're having a lively one. But it is February 7th, 2022. And you know the drill, man. We are going to look at tonight's NBA slate. 5 games on the docket. And try to come away with some of our favorite player props to make some money tonight on PrizePicks. And if you're not on PrizePicks, PrizePicks.com, use promo code Gundacker. They're going to spot you $100, and it's going to be great. We are joined by the newly dubbed Mad Scientist. It's official. But the day that I bring it out, he's wearing a hat. Oh, what's up? What's up, Josh? Or not?
Frozen.
Oh, my bad. I forgot. I had myself muted for you guys.
Oh.
What's up, Josh? I did a whole bit about your Mad Scientist, and then you were in a hat, and then, let me get this bang going. What's up, Josh?
Hey, what up? How we doing?
We're doing good. That is quite the industry. That's an open-ended. Anyway, and also joined us is Quinn. He looked like he's gonna be a Monday regular. For the three amigos. I was hoping we'd get more games so I can get the most out of you guys, but we only have 5 of them. But 5 games that still have quite a bit of news that could shape up some prop leans one way or the other. Typically, PrizePicks doesn't post a lot of props when there is some big news up in the air for a specific team. However, we can reference player props set by other sports books. So we're going to be doing some of that. Quinn, what's up, man? How are you?
And I'm good, man. Happy Monday to you and to everyone out there. It was a nice little relaxing weekend of doing pretty much nothing but PrizePicks. I didn't even, believe it or not, I haven't messed with DFS since Thursday night. And my life has been quite a bit less stressful. So that's been a nice revelation with focusing more on this PrizePicks thing, and I've actually been more profitable. So all's good.
Yeah, it's definitely a simpler sweat and a simpler process. And once you set a card, man, that bird flies on its own, right? So you don't have to you can't late swap your player props, right? So.
Right.
It definitely does simplify the process, and it's a good transition for those of us that have been grinding DFS for years. So I've seen a lot of steam go PrizePicks way. Big community in their Discord, and a lot of more casual players have a more even playing field to make some money. So that's why we've added this extra show here. This is week 3, week 4 of this program. So it's doing numbers, and I'm seeing good numbers on YouTube in general for a lot of PrizePicks and player prop content. So I did have this feeling years back when DFS was starting to become legal in many states. I was like, all right, this is going to be a precedent for sports betting, and sports betting is going to kill DFS. And we're kind of maybe seeing the beginning. But I love the thrill of DFS still. I love salary cap. I love, game theory and all that. So I don't know that I'd ever be able to quit it, but if the prize pools got away from me, maybe. I would say this. I as a baseball fanatic, I feel like prop betting baseball would be a lot more stressful for me than DFS, but we'll see.
Oh no, I'll be DFS in baseball. There's no question. Like I said, unless the prize pools dry up, but that DFS is baseball's tailor made for DFS, make a bunch of lineups and stacks and things like that. But this NBA, like me having to worry about if I have to play all or nothing on Terry Taylor, who I've never heard of until, it is stressful. Baseball, I can't wait to get back on that grind. That's one of my favorite grinds.
Knock on wood.
No, yeah, well, knock on wood, of course. If not, there's KBO.
Whoa. Okay, yeah. Hey, no. Any type of baseball will freaking hold me over, man. Shout out to live chat. What up, Damron? What up, Chris Smith, Brody, Mia Moore, Goat, Squeak Diesel, Lorenza, Mitch Rob, fantasy points over. The only locks is Goat. Dom says if Giannis would have gotten one more point last night, would have won 450 over multiple bets. Rip. Sounds like Giannis. What was the controversy on Giannis's rebound and points? Sounds like he was credited rebound and then uncredited, and then so that kind of hooked his rebound prop, and then he was there for or was he 1 point away from that prop?
He his point prop was 20.5, finished with 28. He decided at the end of the game to take jump shots. He was not like going towards the basket at all, and he was just popping up shots and missing them. So he had a chance to get over that. And then the rebound issue was in the third quarter, around 6 minutes. He got a rebound. It kind of tipped off of Pat Connaughton, and Pat Connaughton never gained control of it. And the stat keepers gave him the rebound. And then later on, around near the fourth quarter, they took that rebound away. And then that put him at 10 rebounds instead of 11, which his prop was at 10.5. So, yeah, that really hurt.
That's terrible. What else is terrible is, for some reason, the chat is not showing up on live stream today, which is a cool part of the whole thing. And I don't know. Maybe I could switch screens real quick, and we'll come back, and then we'll talk about what's going on today. Well, live. Nope. Still just not showing. So I guess I'll have to see if I can adjust that for the DFS stream. But chat, we see you. I have your chat up, so you're definitely not going ignored. Lorenzo says, why is McCall Bridges still at 21.5 PRA? That's a great question. Hey, if you haven't taken a peek at tonight's slate yet, there are 5 games kind of staggered out. Good for DFS. For prop betting, you're going to have to sweat a little bit of news. We got the Miami Heat at the Washington Wizards. Heat, a news-intensive situation. Jimmy Butler, questionable. Sounded like Tyler Hero indicated that he didn't expect to play. On the Wizards side, they're still going to be without Bradley Beal, Daniel Gafford. Moving on to the Hornets game and the Raptors game, looks like nothing staggering there. McDaniel's out for the Hornets. He does get a few minutes, but Dragic the only note on the Raptors injury report, and they don't care about anyone that's not their starting 5 anyway. On the Suns side, no big news that we haven't been dealing with already. However, Cameron Payne, Landry Shamet still listed as out. And when games are competitive, we've seen up to 40 minutes of action from Chris Paul in regulation. Something to keep an eye on. And then the Bulls have a lot of news that we are waiting on. Kobe White and Zach LaVine represent a lot of usage, a lot of minutes, and it could tip the scales toward Vooch and DeRozan extra usage. And then, of course, Ayo Dosunmu would get a boost, maybe more so specifically for his assist prop that has been a honey hole as of late, especially when Levine is out. The Warriors side, Iguodala, Otto Porter listed as questionable. The Thunder still without SGA. Lou Dort is questionable. He missed their last game, and this has become a who's who of who's that Thunder team. Alexei Pokusevsky was sent back down to the G League after playing sizable minutes in the second half, or in the second half of the back-to-back for the Thunder last set, and put up a decent fantasy game. But maybe this will be like Jeremiah Robinson early the other day, where he got sent down in the morning to play a G League game, and then ended up coming back that night. The Knicks, part of the main event tonight, they are going to rest Kemba Walker up against the Utah Jazz, who lists Jordan Clarkson and Rudy Gay as questionable, and Rudy Gobert is still out. So that's what we're dealing with. Josh, where do we start? It sounded like a lot of our decision-making is going to be heavily contingent on the news, but did you have some maybe non-news lines that you have some early leans on?
Yeah, I guess we can start. Let's start with maybe the Charlotte game.
All right, let's go to the Hornets game here. So for DFS, when I set some dummies this morning, I essentially loaded up on Raptors, man. I think I had 4 Raptors in high dollar single entry on FanDuel, and just let it rip because I know they're all going to play 38, 40 minutes each. Did you want to start on the Raptors side or the Hornets side?
Raptors side. Raptors side. Yeah, I feel really confident, and I'm sure it's going to be very popular today, and it'll probably drive up its prop, but Van Fleet's assist prop at 7.5. Just the fast-paced environment, more assists to go around, more shots. And he's been really distributing it a lot, so that'll be popular. I can get on that. And then I saw that you posted one of the more popular props out there was going to be Pascal over his PRA, just 36.5. I could definitely get on that. Just the amount of minutes and the matchup, and then Gary Trent, his 3-point made 3.5. Charlotte gives up the most threes to shooting guards, and he's going to take 8 to 10 threes. So it's just a matter of, is he going to hit that 45-50% clip and get for over 3.5. So those are kind of the ones I'm eyeing right now. What about you guys?
Yeah, I really like that Van Vliet assist and the Siakam PRA. The Gary Trent to hit 4 threes a little bit more on the edge of comfort.
Yeah.
I wish it was 3 and I could push it, but I think
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense. All year long, we've targeted the Charlotte Hornets as being one of the fastest paced teams, one of the more porous defenses, and because of their fast pace being opposite of what the Raptors' pace rating is this year, Raptors with actually one of the lowest pace ratings. That's more implied possessions for the Raptors. Raptors have a bottom 5, bottom 6 pace rating. More implied possessions for the Raptors, and they have to play a little bit of keep up if the Hornets' offense can click. The Hornets have one of the better offensive efficiencies in all of basketball, selling out for defense here. So I like the spot for the Raptors, and even more so like them when you think about Nick Nurse playing everyone 38, 39, 40 minutes out of the starting lineup. So Fred VanVleet should be able to feast per minute, and so should Siakam. So I do like that PRA. I didn't hate like the rebound numbers, but I think we saw that some action was on Siakam's under. I will never bet an under against the Charlotte Hornets, but Gary Trent I think is the one that makes me feel the most uncomfortable. But give me Van Vliet assist, give me Siakam PRA. Quinn, what's sticking out to you on the Raptors, if anything? Do you agree with those two or those 3 numbers?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
He froze.
Siakam,
There we go.
I'm still trying to decide on Siakam's PRA or fantasy points, because the stocks could be there for him in this type of matchup. So that's one that I'll be kind of wrestling with.
Yeah.
I'm definitely on board with Van Vliet, and I also kind of like the rebounds on Scotty Barnes if he's playing power forward. We know Charlotte's one of the in the bottom 5 in rebound percentage, so that could be a spot too where I might get to, like, if I'm just maybe playing a card that's just from this game and just hope the whole game is full of fantasy goodness.
Yeah, I can get behind all that. What up, Kazar Khan, Jermaine Sharp, Darnell Langevin? My bad if I butchered that. What up, Darnell? I got that one right? What up, Skimmer? What up, he made it happen? Let's see. Kazar says, my boy from Brooklyn. Quinn, you from Brooklyn, or is he talking about me?
I was born in Queens, but I don't know, maybe the accents are all similar.
Yeah, so I'm from Staten Island, so all right. Hey, shout out to the BX, the BKX up in here. Bam under 4 assists is easy. All right, Diakati rebound props interesting. Says Renza. Seen OG Anunoby over 1.5 steals. Do we have that? They don't have that right now, but I definitely could see that if PrizePicks picked that. Seems like PrizePicks doesn't like to add a lot of blocks and steals that hit 2 or more. It just seems like they give us some of those lower end numbers to target. What up, Dougie? Yo, DeMarco Brown, appreciate those subs, boys. Welcome to the channel. You made it happen. Says, I like Siakam rebound over 9.5. They give up major rebounds other side of the ball. They should add Lonzo's free throw prop. I take the over if it's forward. Toronto is foul central. I can see that. I don't mind that. Queens gets the money, says Justin Sports. All right, so let's flip it to the Hornets side here. The Hornets are relatively fully healthy, right? Gordon Hayward coming back after an extended stay off. Yeah, McDaniels is down, but when the Hornets are fully healthy, at least from a DFS perspective, they become somewhat hard to predict in my estimation, because one night LaMelo pops, one night Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, Kelly Oubre, Miles Bridges. They just have a carousel of talented guys that can catch fire. So I tend to not really get behind them too much, especially for real points. But is there any props, maybe, Josh, that we can get behind on PrizePicks? 31.5 PRA for Lonzo Ball. He's missed that in his last 2 games. Similar style opponent here as Miami and Cleveland, slower in pace, stronger on defense. Terry Rozier's got a 4 assist prop. That's something that we were pushing like 2 weeks ago, and it's just that well's kind of dried out for the most part. Miles Bridges plays a ton of minutes. Maybe he can muscle his way into a PRA number, but I feel like no matter what I come up with, everything's a little bit of a stretch, and I try to have as few stretches as possible when it comes to prize picks because it's pretty much parlay style, so I want to minimize my risk, and I don't want to settle on uncomfortable clicks here. Do you have any Hornets leans, or is this a team you're fading?
No, I mean I'm with you on the guys, the score producers, scorers on the team, but I could get on Plumlee. I know he's gonna be popular because he's just been crushing his rebound and PRA props lately. I mean, I don't know what's gotten into the guy. I mean, he looks like the Mason Plumlee of early last season with the Pistons when he was just killing it fantasy wise. He was putting up like 50 burgers a lot. He's dominating the glass. I mean, he had 17 rebounds against that big Celtics front court just 2 games ago. And we saw what Vooch did to the Raptors when the Raptors go small with Pascal at the 5. Vooch had like 18 rebounds. He almost had 20 there at the end. So his 8.5 rebound prop, I wonder if it's going to go up because how popular it'll probably be. Mm-hmm. I can get on that. Now, I guess the debate would be, would you guys feel more comfortable with his PRA just because he does have the ability to pass it and get assists? He could, his range of outcomes would be 3 to 6 assists in a game. And, you stack on his rebounds and then, he averages around 6 points. So would you guys feel more comfortable with his PRA? I mean, he's been crushing both, so.
Personally, I mean, he's had double-digit rebounds in his last 5 games. So, I think I'd just either stick with the rebounds, or he's someone I also like, doing the first half prop with because it's like with his points or something like that because it's always really low. Like, maybe he can get 2 baskets. I think his first half points prop is like 4, something I might take a look at also. Because, sometimes he doesn't play fourth quarters. I mean, it's possible they can wind up going small.
So you're saying we might have a sharp first half line on Plumlee. Let's see, Plumlee first half, it's just 3.5 points, so 2 buckets. Yeah, they didn't give us anything first half in terms of rebounds. For me, when I think of Plumlee, I initially associate him with inconsistent minutes and usually lower to 20. I put him at 28 today. And I'm trying to come up with a common denominator on why lately his minutes have been a little bit higher. PJ Washington's back in the mix. Miles Bridges gets big run. Still have Nick Richards, guys like that. But I guess he's just kind of earned his keep here. And in matchups that require size, teams like Bam Adebayo, the Cavs rolling out, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, the Celtics playing big. Maybe when it's a bigger opponent, they need him out there. So I could get behind that. I definitely don't hate it. You mentioned it might be popular. Just out of curiosity, what is the rebound prop for Plumlee on DraftKings Sportsbook? It looks like Charlotte. Looks like they don't have one yeah, they do. Let's go to Fantasy Charlotte player props. I'm just gonna control F Plumlee here. Plumlee for
8.5.
8.5. Okay, so we do get a little bit of a. No, we don't. We get a little bit.
People are betting the under on it too, though.
Raptors are pretty stringent defensively. I kind of called this when they're fully healthy, right? Up until like last month, this was a team that was staggering injuries and really having a looser rotation, I would say. Achua, Kem Burch, Chris Boucher. Now they're really stuck on their starting 5. And defensively, they're restricting points in the paint. They're not really giving up much of anything. So I'm uncomfortable with picking on them, but Plumlee size may definitely be needed here. Rebound rates above average offensively and average on defensive. So I don't mind it. I just don't. In the back of my mind, I don't understand why he's all of a sudden getting more minutes to lean on than he had been. But I guess in this spot, his size could very much be needed. But I don't love Hornets props, but I could get behind some Plumlee rebounds here. Let me get caught up on live chat before we move on. Shout out to Kendry. By the way, Marley7, Kendry Gonzalez, appreciate those subs. Welcome to the channel. Lorenzo says, love Van Vliet, PRA. Siakam over points or PRA? I'm thinking the PRA is a good way to throw a blanket over everything that he should do. 38 to 40 minutes of game time against the Charlotte Hornets. He should have his hand in just about everything, and we expect him to really exceed his season averages. I expect most players to exceed their season averages against the Charlotte Hornets. So I would probably throw a blanket over the PRA. But like Quinn was saying, Siakam's not allergic to blocks and steals. So maybe fantasy points is an even better way to get on throwing that blanket over everything he might do. I got him for 50 fantasy points from a PrizePicks scoring, and they have Siakam's line at
35, I believe.
45. All right, so it's not a giant gap. Maybe PRA is better, but it's still a 5-6 margin that I can get behind. Jermaine says we didn't speak about Gary Trent. Thoughts on points? Yeah, Josh did mention Gary Trent over 3.5 threes. Like I said, it's a little riskier to expect 4 or 5 threes from somebody in the game, but Gary Trent is going to shoot over half of his shot, if not all of his shots, from behind the arc. And against the Hornets, if you're going to up the pace a little bit, I definitely don't mind it. But that might not be something I lean on a lot, just because it's a little bit more volatile. Lorenzo says Bridges, blocks, and steals for the Hornets here. Miles Bridges, blocks. Miles or Mikal? Miles Bridges, blocks, and steals are at 1.5 against Toronto. I can see it. Don't love it. I can see it. LaMelo over rebounds. If no buckets, Bam will kill all of his props. Yeah, I like Bam Adebayo almost regardless, but certainly if Jimmy's out and Tyler out, right, you can get it to a lot of Lowry and Adebayo. Speaking of Lowry and Adebayo, Josh, you know I got to do this, right? You know I got to do this. Spencer Dinwiddie is at...
Oh, boy.
He's at 12.5 real points. Swag money. Appreciate that follow.
If Butler's out, I can get with you on it. If Butler and Hero are out, I could get with it.
Chat, listen to me. Listen. I cannot quit you. I don't know why Dinwiddie last couple of games. Let's see. Real points by game log without Bradley Beal this season. Up until the last 3 or 4 games, Bradley Beal has been a lock. Not Bradley Beal. Spencer Dinwiddie has been a lock to blow 12.5 points out of the water in the absence of Bradley Beal. In the most recent game against the Phoenix Suns, Phoenix put the clamps on Washington, smoked them, right? He played just 23 minutes. In those minutes, was shot 1 for 5. His field goal efficiency has been dog water the last 3-4 games. Then against Philly, he had a date with Matisse Thybulle. Still hits his over, right? He hits his over. It was by hook or by crook. I believe it was a end of the game free throw, right? Pair of free throws that got him there. Against Drew Holiday, he went 2 for 9. And then prior to that, it's just been a ton of real points. So the heart wants what the heart wants. 12.5 for Spencer Dinwiddie still feels kind of low. And I would say that the matchup could be better if Jimmy's out. But the usage has been there and the shot volume has been there. So 12.5 still kind of low if you can look past the last 3 games, because all season long he's been getting it done without Bradley Beal. So just throwing it out there. Anything you're keeping an eye on from this game? Obviously, you're not going to feel warm and fuzzy on any of these Wizards props. Usually Dinwiddie and Kuzma are the only 2 guys that I lean on in DFS. But looking at the Heat, let's play if this then that. We don't have. Do we have any Heat lines from PrizePicks specifically? Heat. We do. So we have Butler questionable, and Hero said at shoot around they didn't expect to play. So we're really just waiting on definitive Jimmy Butler news, and Jimmy Butler is questionable with a left big toe irritation. He was questionable, I guess, with the same ailment before the last game he played. So I guess because of that, we might expect him to play. But I'm not tripping, right? Hero said he didn't expect to play.
I think he's doubtful. I think he said. I think. Yeah, I don't think he's
Yeah, he got
playing.
injured in that Charlotte game.
Okay.
Most recent game.
All right. So what do we like in here, Quinn? I'll start with you. Is there anything that on the Heat side you want to get behind? Heat are 6-point road favorites here. Jimmy Butler definitely represents a lot, but I think I prepare for Butler to be in and Hero to be out. Is there anything standing out to you?
Um, if like I said, if Butler's still in, I think some of these lines might be a little higher than I'm comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
I see Duncan Robinson at 13.5 points. You know that's screaming under to me because he's basically just a 3-point shooter, and if he doesn't shoot well, he might not get the minutes. However, I don't think Max Strus is playing either, so those minutes might actually be there. So maybe either way, that's one I'd stay away from. I see Bam's points and things; they all look a little bit high. So I'm not really going to address the Heat until we know what Jimmy Butler's status is. That's really the only way I can play it right now.
Josh, what say you?
I said screw it, and I rolled the dice and I entered some cards with Lowry, thinking that or hoping that Butler was going to be out because his assist rate is just off the charts and was too enticing. When both Butler and Hero are off the court, his assist rate percentage goes up to 56.
Mm-hmm.
And they have him at 7 assists right now. I imagine, let's just say Butler is ruled out later today, and they take off Lowry and put it back as new props. I imagine that goes up to 9.5. So just trying to get an early jump on it, and just hope for the best on that.
Yeah.
If Butler plays, I just don't. It makes me nervous to play the Wizards guys, just because. And a lot of the Heat guys, just because of game script narrative. I mean, it could blow out again.
So something we saw with Lowry in that last game was, even though the game was really lopsided in the fourth quarter, Lowry kind of stuck out there while Jimmy and Adebayo, Tucker, the rest of the starters were on the bench. So it looks like they might be at least trying to get Lowry's cardio back to where it needs to be, and letting him press to 30 minutes. So he might be a little more game script proof if you expect a blowout than Butler. And it looks like a lot of that good. I know for a fact a lot of Lowry's fantasy goodness came in the second half because he had about 6 FanDuel points at halftime. And then second half he popped off with like 3 steals and got a lot of his peripherals. So I definitely don't mind a little bit of Lowry. Early on, I have him projected for 35 fantasy points. That's about 5 fantasy points greater than what the line on PrizePicks is right now. And then Adebayo, somebody that I'm going to be really curious with in DFS today. And it's worth bringing up here. You guys remember the glory days of Thomas Bryant starting for the Wizards? He was
Yeah.
he was the door, right? You open the door and you walk in and you just play whoever's up against the Wizards. It was like the Wizards, the Nets back then. Well, he's recently been reinserted to the starting lineup of the Wizards, and Daniel Gafford's out. Gafford a little bit more of a interior defender, especially a little bit better on defense. And in short sample size, we have seen centers light Thomas Bryant up, at least for fantasy.
The door's open again. Door's back open.
The door is open. We're open for business. And we know Montrezl Harrell's never been a defensive juggernaut. So with Gafford out, I think this is going to be a really profitable spot for centers. Maybe more so for DFS. But Bam Adebayo I think is somebody I'm going to be leaning on pretty liberally tonight in DFS. So maybe I can double down on him in prop betting as well. They got several numbers I can get behind. The 35.5 PRA maybe is the best way to throw a blanket over everything. And again, remember, they didn't play the fourth quarter of that Charlotte game. They've been playing really good basketball. If they can blow out Charlotte, they can blow out the Washington Wizards. But maybe this is one of those, if Jimmy's out, we run, not walk, to Bam Adebayo overs and try to beat them on them yoinking this game. I have Adebayo for about 45 fantasy points, which is pretty consistent consistent with their lines. Nothing is like super edgy, I think, right now for Adebayo, but I think the PRA and maybe the rebounds would be something I get on if we knew Butler was out at this moment. Quinn, you got any Adebayo inclinations?
Yeah, that PRA is something you want to kind of keep in the back of your head. Like around 5:30, when that injury report comes out, 90 minutes before tip off, you see that Butler's out. You might want to run and get that because you'll probably have about 30, 45 seconds for they yank it. Or like Josh did, you want to take the chance. I mean, I think that's a good prop to take a chance on because that's going to certainly go up by a few points. If Butler's ultimately ruled out.
Yeah, I mean it's live even if Butler plays, right? It's not like it's
Yeah.
a bad line, but it becomes that much better.
100% agree.
All right. Looking out elsewhere on the board, the Chicago Bulls hosting the Phoenix Suns. So this is a big news game. Zach LaVine, Kobe White, if they can't go, we teeter-totter the usage to DeRozan and Vucevic, but we're also wrestling with an 8-point spread here. And if we got definitive news, that would place LaVine and or Kobe White, more so LaVine, out of this game. You can see this 8-point spread move to double digits. The Bulls, I believe this is this either the third game in 4 nights for that stretch or the fourth game. Let me double check. I know they had a 4 and 5 stretch, so I guess it was the Orlando game, then Toronto, and then LaVine sat the Indiana game, right? So this is, let me pull up DeRozan. The third, the fourth, they skipped the fifth, sixth. So this is their 4th game in 5 nights. So that's a tough schedule. And now you get arguably the best team in basketball. Oof. I might be on some unders here, especially if we get some of these lines jacked up. I guess we'll start with you, Josh. Do you have some if this then that ready? I feel like a lot of steam will head DeRozan's way, but I gotta be honest, man. I'm very concerned about the conditioning and the gas tank of the Bulls today. DeRozan's already priced at 27.5. He's cleared that his last 4 games. Defensively, Philly, I guess, dropping 45 on a guy like Matisse Thybulle is definitely easier said than done. And he's just been getting it done all year. But I feel like I'm a little bit more susceptible to believe that the Suns might get these guys to run out of gas. But I'm willing to be very, very wrong if it makes me money. What are you thinking on the Bulls, and what are you waiting for? If LaVine was ruled out right now, what would you say is your favorite lines?
I mean, I get it about the empty gas tank, but a 44% usage rate for DeRozan when LaVine and Kobe White are out, that's just too enticing. I mean, I would jump on it. And my second favorite would be Javonte Green's. He's been crushing pretty much every prop with these guys out, but like his fantasy point at 22, he's been going way over that. And interestingly, his blocks plus steals, when he plays 30-plus minutes, he's getting like 3 of those per game. So I guess it would make more sense to do the fantasy points because you encompass all of that, including his points and everything. And they have him at 10.5 points too. So I would jump on either of those props for Javonte Green. And yeah, I mean, the DeRozan 5.5 assists, that's been consistent with those guys out too. I get the risk, but I guess the most comfortable I would feel on the Bulls side would be Javonte Green as of right now because they don't have IO props out yet.
Yeah, I guess Io is the one that they're scared to list without LaVine. Io assist props have certainly been a source of steam because we've seen him get double-digit assists. Let me see, player props for Chicago Chicago. Wait, I'm in some like weird page. I wanted to keep this page open for here we go, assist. for point of reference here, and I just had some weird stuff on my screen. Chicago Bulls, we don't have IO numbers. We don't have anything specifically. We do have DeRozan at 5.5 on the sports book, which is the same as PrizePicks. So yeah, the usage is usage, and numbers don't lie. But man, am I very, very concerned about the Bulls here. Quinn, do you have a plan of attack for the Bulls when this news comes out?
Yeah, so also to note on the Bulls, you got Kobe White, who's also questionable. So, if you lose him, it's probably why they don't have Io's props, is because Io will be probably to upper 30s minutes. So that's probably why you don't see his props. So I'd be waiting for his props to come up. And with Josh, I totally agree with Javante Green. That was my first look as well. Whether it be the points, fantasy points, PRA, they all look a little light to me. And all look like that he could get there, no matter what the game situation, winds up being. So so beyond that, he also mentioned DeRozan assists. I also agree with that. The Vucevic lines, I could get behind the points because he's been clearing those points, pretty well. So those are kind of the ones that I'm looking at right now.
All right, what about the Sun side here? Let's see, the lines up on Prize Picks. We have Aiton Paul and Devin Booker. We also have McCall Bridges. His PRA also pretty low, all things considered. Against Washington, we talked about it just a minute ago. That game was very lopsided and pretty much over before it began. But looking at the rotation for the Phoenix Suns in that game, we'll see exactly how many minutes McCall Bridges lost. Bridges had 25 minutes. This is a guy that going into that game, he was playing 40 minutes every game, right? So if a game stays competitive, 40, 40, 40, 41, it feels like his PRA might have plenty of meat left on the bone because if a game is more competitive, and again, I'm very scared for the Bulls here, but 21.5 is awfully low considering that 40 minutes is more likely than 20 minutes, and that was a number he didn't miss by much in 25 minutes against the Washington Wizards. So McCall Bridges' 21.5 PRA is something that immediately stands out to me. And then Chris Paul, whenever I think about Chris Paul, I look for assists. There you have him at 11.5. That's very aggressive. I mean, it's appropriate, but it's expensive. And then DeAndre Ayton flourished in that Washington Wizards game against the aforementioned defensive stylings of Thomas Bryant. So something to keep an eye on. But we know when the Booker, Paul, Ayton trio are on the court, it's Chris Paul at like over 40% assist rate, Devin Booker 30% usage rate, and then Ayton, his point per minute is amongst the best. Ayton is at a 33.5 fantasy point projection line here. Is sharing some front court minutes with Biyombo and McGee, but obviously Ayton is the top dog in that triangle. Any Suns numbers, Josh, or is everything priced appropriately? And I think it's fair to be that way. And for me, it's McCall Bridges PRA. Anything for you?
Yeah, probably Bridges PRA. I think Chris Paul's PRA is slightly higher on Prize Picks relative to DraftKings and FanDuel Sportsbook.
32.
I think they were at 31.5. You can always get on his assists, but that if you get on his assists, you're hoping that game stays close to the end. So that's risky. So that would depend on if Levine is playing. And so yeah, that's about it. That's all I was looking at for the Suns side.
Yeah, it is. They're charging you an extra PRA versus DK. Quinn, any Suns love today?
I actually like the Bridges fantasy score a little more than the PRA because Bridges, he can pick up those steals, those defensive peripherals, and you get 3 points for those. Not one to turn the ball over much, so I think I'd be leaning more fantasy points in his case because the gap isn't that wide. I think it's only a 5.5 point gap between his fantasy score and his PRA. So I think I'd be looking at the fantasy score, as an over.
I dig it. Chat, you guys have hit a season high for this show. We've cleared
Yes, sir.
100 viewers, so that is definitely the new record for this show. Hit that thumbs up, man. Show some love. And if you guys want to hang out with us even more after this stream, first of all, I'll be doing another free stream, the DFS breakdown. We'll be diving a little bit more in-depth game by game, looking at stuff from a FanDuel DraftKings point of view, but still Prize Picks as news comes out. But if you guys want to get into our premium Discord, go to rundfs.com, click VIP memberships, and find something right for you. There's week passes, 2-week passes, all that good stuff. And then you'll get a couple of links. One to the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, which is going to give you access to the index portal, my projections. Josh has done an incredible job of having a prop detector tab, a little ode to the bomb detector. You guys can kind of see what his favorite stuff is, and if you want to tail it. And he is also extremely transparent. And I don't know that I can recall a day yet, Josh, that there was more red than green, man. You're crushing the props. And then we also hang out in the voice chat for a couple hours before lock, a little bleeding over lock, talking more props and picks for fantasy. Tonight, just a 5-gamer, a little bit more simple. We'll have some bigger slates as the days go by, but it's a good way to get a little extra oomph and more up-to-date thoughts when news really starts becoming facts instead of speculation. So go to RunDFS.com, get yourself signed up, and then of course, if you're watching this, you're probably already on PrizePicks. But if you're not, sign up for PrizePicks using code Gundacker. You see it at the top of the screen. They're gonna match your first deposit up to $100. So throw a 20 bomb at it, make it $40, and start grinding a bankroll, man. Start with $5 units, right? That's the minimum bet, and work your way up from there and become great, man. I want to see you guys be great. Getting caught up on chat here. Chris says we need to break that record tomorrow. Yeah, man, records are meant to be broken. We are breaking a lot of records lately on this channel. I mean, the more success I see in the channel, my girlfriend will tell you, I'm always looking at the analytics, the subs. There's like every week we're getting that many more subscribers compared to the week before. The views are that much higher. Makes me want to pump out more content, right? We did Saturday streams this weekend, and I've been trying to find NHL, MMA people that can serve a little bit more content, because I don't want to just put content for the sake of content. I want good stuff. I know I'm not going to pretend to give you guys, you know what I mean? Anyway, last couple games on tonight's slate is Knicks at the Utah Jazz. At the Jazz, still one of the more volatile spots to play basketball. You saw the Nets just went up there and died. Kyrie and Patty Mills were not enough. The Knicks coming off a frustrating loss to the Lakers. They had a 21-point lead, and LeBron and the gang and Malik Monk in that third quarter caught fire. Malik Monk outscored the Knicks like 18-13 in the third quarter himself, and the Lakers pushed that game to OT. They beat the Knicks, but there have been clips of Julius Randle arguing with coaching staff on the sideline there. He unfollowed them on Instagram. There's definitely trouble in paradise. The Knicks are coming into that game as 8-point underdogs. And then the Golden State Warriors hosting the Thunder as 12.5-point road favorites. Ugly West Coast slate of options here, Josh, more so from a fantasy standpoint. But I guess we'll start with the Warriors side, since the Warriors are your expertise. Is there anything especially fruitful or lucrative in either of these games, starting with the Warriors game, that we should be cognitive of, or is a lot of your action going to be on the early 3 games?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm definitely going heavy on the early 3 games. I might cross off majority of these props for the last 2 games. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the pace. I'm not feeling the spreads, implied totals. But for the Warriors, it is Klay Thompson's birthday tomorrow.
Oh.
That could be good or bad thing, right? Like, he could be like, Oklahoma City. I just want to be on my boat with my dog Rocco, where they go on wine dates and, just chill out on his yacht. He could just check out. Like, if his first shots aren't going in, he just feel like, I'm done. So he makes me worried. Steph makes me worried because the OKC, like we talked about recently, like their backcourt defense is more scrappy and is really improved. So I'd be hesitant in that, and also hesitant just due to blowout potential. Mm-hmm. One side of things for the OKC side I could get on in this game would be maybe the rebound props for Ducati, or however you say his name.
Yeah, Ducati.
All
right, let's pull some thunder. I don't mind that, and I also was gonna ask if you had any leans on Darius Bazley, because he's also benefited from 30 minutes a game in the absence of JRE, and then today we learned Pokusevski, relegated to the G League. So the minutes should be there for the Thunder front court no matter what. Like, these are not like You know what I mean? Like, they're going to get blown out. They're going to get blown out. It's going to happen. But the minutes should still be somewhat safe perceptually for these guys. So, yeah, let's talk about Diakate. First of all, 6 rebounds. He has seen the over on that number in 3 straight games and has played, 30 minutes essentially I guess 24-30 in his last 2 games in life without Jeremiah Robinson Earl, and they still list them as out here. So 24 minutes in that back-to-back against Sacramento. I definitely don't mind that. I think 6+ is a low number to attack. And then, like I said, Darius Baisley's a guy that has also been absolving and representing a lot of minutes, 36+. I think a lot of these calls, especially for these peripheral numbers, I want to see Lou Dort out again, but Baisley rebounds could be soft enough for him as well. 7, 12, 11 rebounds his last couple games, and maybe some PRA leans here. I think right now the most susceptible path of success against the Warriors is against this front court that doesn't have Draymond Green, and that is a significant absence. It's not like they're the worst defense in the league, but they're definitely not as good as they have been without Draymond. So Baisley 7.5 rebounds, 23 PRA, and Diakate 6 rebounds. All look pretty justifiable here. If Lou Dort was out, Josh Giddey is at 28.5 PRA. That's a number he's cleared in 4 of his last 5 games. And we know without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's going to be a guy that soaks up a lot of minutes, represents a lot of hustle stats, a lot of peripherals, and a decent chunk of usage. Quinn, do you have any Thunder interest tonight? Do you like that Diakate rebound call?
I'm kind of iffy on it. I don't know if that's one I'm going to mess with. But just to circle back on the Warriors, I was looking at their first half props earlier, because there is, a potential blowout risk. And I have a lot of interest in Wiggins. His fantasy score for first half prop is 14. Kevon Looney also, his is at 12. So looking at the just how Vegas implies it and everything like that, I think it's a situation where we can look at first half props, and Wiggins and Looney are ones that I might play. I might play them together if I make a card with just like the late games or just maybe 3 or 4 guys from this game. So that's where I'm going. But the rest of the OKC, I actually hope that Dort plays, because I'd like to see. I think he gives this game a better chance at being competitive. But again, I don't think that I need to go reaching for Jacate. I think I can find some better plays just elsewhere.
I like that first half Looney 12 fantasy point call. Josh, help me feel good on that. Yeah, you're muted, Mr.
I like it.
Sure. You like it.
I got the little one crying, so I like that.
I just look over, he's nodding. Yeah, baby crying in the background. Shout out to the young scientist there. All right, last game, Knicks and the Jazz. Not a ton to love here, but I guess for the sake of using the on-off court tool, if we take, if we put Julius Randle on, take Kemba off, I'm very, very scared to get exposure to the Knicks, because I don't know what to expect from Julius Randle. It looks like he's all but done with the Knicks, and they need to make something happen, and games can get out of control real quick at Utah. However, this isn't the Rudy Gobert front court, so maybe in the absence of Kemba Walker, Randle can play more to the numbers than anything else, and the numbers say that he has a 28% usage rate without Kemba Walker, with Alec Burks on the court, almost a 1.2, for PrizePicks, a 1.13 fantasy point per minute, and a 26% assist rate. Last game, of course, went to overtime, so maybe not fair to get overly enamored with his game log, but some numbers that look okay. 37 fantasy points is the line that they have him at. That's a number that he's cleared in 2 straight. Again, last game, I think he cleared that number in regulation anyway. RJ Barrett has been topping this team in minutes. I expect that to happen again today. And then Mitchell Robinson's at 9 rebounds, 17.5 PRA. Let me run a quick check on Julius Randle. Julius Randle, FTP by game log without Kemba Walker. Let's go last 10 games. and see how often he's clearing this 37.5, 35, 36. Not as consistent or as aggressive as you would like. So I think it's going to be hard to love and trust the Knicks here. Josh, do you have any Knicks and or Utah lines, or again, is this just one of those? I'll choose my battles and fight another fight maybe tomorrow on a bigger slate.
Yeah, I'm fading this one. I don't feel good about it.
All right. On the Jazz side, while we're looking, Hassan Whiteside and Udoka Azubuike do not have lines, and then we're dealing with a big number on Donovan Mitchell. They've got him at 24.5 real points. Bojan's at 18.5 real points. There's really nothing I want to run and grab a hold of on the Jazz side. Jordan Clarkson is questionable. So maybe that would help me feel better about Donovan Mitchell's point props. But yeah, this is a hard game to like, and not one that I'm going to be super stoked to get exposure to from a fantasy perspective or a prize picks perspective. Quinn, any hot takes from this game? Are you staying away too?
Well, I could get behind Evan Fournier's first half points. They're sitting there at 7.5. The type that's gonna get his shots up. And if his shots are falling, it's gonna help determine if he's gonna play like the rest of the game. So, at least I know I'm guaranteed to get the first and second quarter. No Kemba Walker kind of helps him a little bit because there's one less guard in the rotation. But either way, at 7.5 points, I could take the over on that. I think he's cleared that in at least 4 out of the last 5. Mitchell Robinson, in this game, he's gonna be or whatever.
There we go.
So I would take Mitchell Robinson. I like the either the rebounds or the fantasy points. I think he has an excellent shot at getting there.
All right, I dig it. Well, boys, that's our Monday show. Chat, I appreciate your time. Make sure you're hitting those thumbs up. I'm going to be back in just a few minutes. Revisit every game, every bit of news, game by game, talking it up from a DFS perspective. Josh, Quinn, I appreciate your time. Quinn, hopefully maybe another day opens up, but it looks like the Monday Three Amigo, at least next week, NBA, I dare you. Give us a big slate because we will dominate it.
Sure.
All right. Appreciate your time, guys. I'll see you on the next show. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.
Yep.